Hi, and welcome to this video on using the quadratic formula to solve a quadratic equation. So the quadratic formula is the formula that will solve a quadratic equation of this form: ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. So you can see from that a is always the number in front of the x squared, which means that in my quadratic equation, a has to be 2. You can also see that b is the number that's in front of x, which means that in my quadratic equation, b is -5. Make sure that you also use the sign. So b is -5. That's b. Sorry, that should say a. So that's a, that's b. And then finally c, as you can see from the general form, is on its own without x's or x squareds. So I need to call my c the number 1. So that's a, b, and c. So the first thing to do is to rewrite the equation, but where you see an a, a b, or a c, just do a bracket for now. So minus b plus minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. And now all you do is you just substitute the a, the b, and the c into this formula. So wherever you see an a, you are going to replace that a by 2. So if you look in the formula, there's an a there and there's an a there. So I can replace both of those by 2's. Wherever you see a b, that needs to be replaced by -5. There's a b and there's a b. So they both need to be replaced by a -5. So -5 there and a -5 there. And then finally, wherever you see a c, that needs to be replaced by a 1. And there's only one c, which is there. So replace that c by the number 1. Now, the reason I do the brackets, you don't have to do it, but if you don't do it, then you're very likely to make a sign error there and also there. Just bear in mind that you get this plus minus. This simply just means that you're going to enter this equation into your calculator twice. The first time, you'll put a plus there and you'll get your answer. Then you go back into the formula and you change that to a minus and you get another answer. So that plus minus just tells you that you'll get 2 answers. So what you need to do now on your calculator is start by pressing the fraction button and then type in exactly what you see in front of you. So if you type that exactly into your calculator as you see it there, you should get an answer like this: x equals 5 plus the square root of 17 over 4. Now that answer would be sufficient in a non-calculator paper, but if you were in a calculator paper, you'd press the SD button on your calculator and to 2 decimal places you get 2.28. Remember what this means? It means that if you draw this quadratic graph, the graph will go through 2.28 on the x-axis. But of course it wouldn't just go through 2.28, there would also be another point. And to get the other point, what we need to do is change this plus that we've had previously to a minus. You don't need to re-enter the whole equation. You can go back to your calculator and go up to the plus, press delete, and change that to a minus. And when you do, this time, you should get x equals 5 minus the square root of 17 over 4, which, if you press the SD button again, is 0.22. So those are the 2 x values. So what this means is it's at these 2 points that the graph will go through the x-axis. Okay, let's do another example. So, same as before, you start by writing x equals minus b plus minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. And you then put your a, your b and your c in there. So let's just make sure we know where this comes from. So my a value is 9. So wherever I see an a, I'm going to replace that with a 9. My b value is minus 7. Wherever I see b, I'll replace it with a minus 7. And my c value is negative 3. So wherever I see c, I replace that with negative 3. You then type this into your calculator, first with the plus and then with the minus. And that will give you the following two answers. X equals 7 plus the square root of 157 over 18, which equals 1.08, or x equals 7 minus the square root of 157 over 18, which equals minus 0.31 if I round it to 2 decimal places. Okay, now the next question, if you could just press pause and have a go first, and then press play when you're ready and look at the answer. Okay, so to do this question again, I'm going to start by doing x equals minus b plus minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. b is negative 1. So b is negative 1. Don't be confused about this. Because it just says a minus there, it means negative 1. So b is negative 1, so minus b plus minus b squared minus 4a, a is negative 3, c, which is 5, over 2a, which is negative 3. And you then type this into your calculator as we've done before to get the following two answers. So x equals minus 1 plus root 61 over 6, which equals minus 1.47 if I round it to 2 decimal places, or you do the same calculation but put a minus where the plus was previously, and that will give you x equals minus 1 plus root 61 over 6, which gives you 1.14. And that's it. Now, I just want to point one thing out. If you look at these two answers, you may think that that is the same as this. But notice how this negative is in front of the whole fraction, where that negative is just in front of the 1. This is why it kind of looks the same, but it gives you two different answers. Because this negative in front of the whole fraction basically means a negative 1 and a negative root 61. Whereas there, you have a negative 1 and a plus root 61. Okay, and that's the end of this video. Thank you.